Hello, welcome to episode 12 of Create This Book Too by Mariah Elizabeth and Ashleigh Monet. All that will be me. As always, my Create This Book 2 playlist with every Create This Book 2 video I have ever done is going to be linked in the description. And we have 4 prompts to tackle this week. Well, 3 pages, 4 prompts. It sounds really confusing, but I'm sure once I get into it, you'll see. 4 prompts, 3 pages. Enough of me talking. Let's jump right in and see what I can create. First prompt of the week, create seasonal decor. Decorate this page based on the current season. So I filmed this on May 19th, so we're still technically in spring, on the cusp of summer, but technically still spring. So that's how we're gonna decorate the page. Now, personally, what I love about spring is watching the transition of everything coming back into bloom. It's like Mother Nature is waking up from a winter rest. So Mother Nature is going to inspire this page. I decided to watercolor a landscape where each of the elements of nature come together to resemble a woman. All right, I wasn't planning on using liner for this one, but I do think it needs a little more definition, so I'm going for it. Yeah, I think that makes it a little easier to read what's happening here. Now, let's punch up the colors and add a little more detail and texture with some colored pencils. Loving that. And now, it's juicy highlight time. I also wanted to highlight all of these trees and bushes, but I didn't want to use white. So here's a lighter green instead. Also, when I went in with the juicy highlights, I took the opportunity to rework the shape of the clouds. They were looking a little bubbly before, so I just added some more bumps to make them look fluffier. I did end up covering my liner though, so let's go ahead and go back in and add it again. And give these cute little flowers some centers. The flowers were important to make this feel like spring and not just some random landscape thing. Okay, now let's zhuzh up that prompt. I'm gonna add in a few more leaves and you guessed it, flowers. A sweet little bit of color, courtesy of my colored pencils, and yeah, I like that. I love that. Now let's glue in our Mother Nature. Well, that's one prompt down. I like it. I do wish it had more flowers so it like screamed spring. Right now, it's whispering it to me. Let me interrupt for a second because we are quickly approaching 3,000 subscribers on this channel. Yay. That kind of took us a while considering 2K was a while ago. Has anyone else noticed that my subscribers don't necessarily match my views unless every single one of my subscribers is watching every week? It's almost as if there's a group of people out there playing hard to get. You know, they're like,
no, we can't be together. You know we can't be together. Let's just keep it casual and I'll come visit you every single week. But we can't be together.
Anyways, 3K, big deal. When I reached 2K, I did that awesome creepifying my subscriber art video. And I told you guys I would do that every time we hit a new milestone. So I can do that again for the 3K. Totally down to do that. Or we can do something different where I can just draw something that my subscribers suggest to me. Now, the thing that I kind of like about this idea, 1, is it's totally open. I can draw whatever. But 2, it gets all of my subscribers involved, not just those that are artistic and want to drop a creation that I then turn around and creepify. Everyone can participate in this. Just shoot out a wacky idea. But I want to get your guys' read on this. Again, I'm here for you guys, for your entertainment. So if there's an idea that you like better than the other, I want you to let me know. In the community section, I'm going to create a poll where I ask what you guys want to see. The creepifying my subscriber art or drawing what my subscribers suggest. Now I need you to vote in the community section, not down in the comments. Because whoever has the biggest number at the end of the poll is the one I'm going to choose. So if you're just voicing your opinion in the comments but not actually voting in the poll, that might mess up the numbers a little bit. Once I have an answer, I will let you guys know. And if it is the new idea of drawing something you guys recommend, then in my next video, I'm going to go ahead and talk about like the rules for that and how to go about making a suggestion. So don't do that this video. I just need to know what you guys want to see for me celebrating 3K. But that's all. Let's get back to the video. Check out the community section after you're all done watching and vote. Let's get back to it. On to the next prompt. Create whatever. Use this page to create anything you want. Anything? Anything. Well, I like movies, if you didn't already know that about me. One of my favorites is Pulp Fiction. Definitely in my top 5. The dialogue is just a work of art. So I'm going to do Vincent and Jules, aka John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson, because I swear their banter, it has like a direct line to my funny bone. I just love them together. I'm using acrylic for these portraits, but primarily paint pens, so I've heard that referred to as drainting, because I'm really drawing, but with paint. So many great scenes in that movie, but the one I've chosen to draint is the coffee scene. I have to remember, I'm on YouTube here, so I chose a scene that's not overly graphic and violent.
You're no fun.
I struggled with John Travolta the most. I felt like for the majority of this picture, he was looking more like Sylvester Stallone. Now, toward the end, it's maybe more like John Cena merged with just a little bit of Travolta. I'm gonna stop messing with it now because I'm just driving myself crazy trying to get a likeness.
Not gonna happen.
Let's move on to Sammy over here. He was significantly easier and turned out much better. Don't really know why. I was using my same eyes and my same hands. I guess sometimes you just walk in the light. Now this page needed a little something more. I went with the quote.
This some serious gourmet
I mean, trying to make small talk about coffee while covered in blood with a dead body in the garage. Only in Pulp Fiction. Now you might be wondering, wait, where's the blood? I don't see any blood. We'll take a good look at this page as it is because we have a little something something waiting around the corner. Something sinister. I give you the next prompt. Create bleed. Use markers or paint and let the colors bleed through the page. I will now drip blood all over this page. So I've taken measures to protect the rest of the book from the bloody mess. Now for my blood, I've extracted the alcohol ink from one of my nearly empty red alcohol markers. And oh, she'll bleed all right. Alcohol ink bleeds through practically everything. First drip, and it flowed right to the spine, which scared me, so I tilted the book the opposite way and it ran to the edges of the pages, which wasn't what I wanted either, but I was panicking, okay? It was such a mess. Learned a lesson and from there just did tiny drips moving forward. Had a little more control with that. There was a lot of ink pooling on the page, so I started blotting it up with a paper towel, which made some swipe marks, which me no likey. So then I added more drips to cover those. And with that done, we can scope out the bleed on the other side. And that's the now finished page. There were some struggles, but I love how this came out. Okay, now back to the bleed page. It needs something more than just the blood, obviously, so I decided to feature Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. An amazing movie based on the musical, of course, where blood is highly emphasized and just so over the top. Let me start by drawing Johnny Depp as Sweeney Todd in that pose where he's all,
My arm is complete again.
improve this with a little heavy liner and colored pencil. Ah, yeah, that's nice. A couple of juicy highlights, and then we can cut him out. And I changed my mind on the background color, better off red than gray. Now let's glue him in. I love him on this page.
He is, without a doubt, simply dreadful.
Now, if you're wondering why I left this side blank, well, allow me to turn the page over to the next prompt. Create a border. Cut a border around this page by cutting shapes out of the edges. Let's start by cutting the page out from the book. And now using some scrapbooking scissors, I cut a wavy border on all sides of the page, kind of like the edges of a postage stamp. I thought this could be like an old flyer advertisement. And what, of course, would this page be advertising? Why, Mrs. Lovett's meat pies, of course. Ugh, screwed up those T's. I'm gonna have to go back and fix them later. Let's carry on and add a steaming meat pie. For those unaware of the premise, in the 1800s, Sweeney Todd, a barber who was wrongfully imprisoned, comes back to London, desperate for revenge against the judge who ordered it. He resumes his work as a barber, but engages in a sinister partnership with Mrs. Lovett, who owns the meat pie shop beneath his barber parlor. He slaughters any man who comes in for a shave, practicing for the day his foe, the judge, might just sit in his chair. Meanwhile, Mrs. Lovett promptly disposes of all of his victims' bodies. And how does she dispose of them all? Well, these pies are a wonderful, sweet, and most delectable thing. Of course, this flyer would advertise Sweeney's barber parlor upstairs. And now that I fixed the text, I can paint. I taped off the edges and painted the center to appear old and stained. Cleaning up the edges now. And now this needs a home in the book. I'm going to start by painting a black border on the page to really emphasize that cut edge. Now I can glue it in. And here is the completed spread, our first 2-page spread that actually contains 2 prompts. So you see 4 prompts, 3 pages. I love it, and now I gotta watch that movie again. And with that, another week is done. Let's recap. We created seasonal decor. We honored the current season of spring with this watercolor landscape of Mother Nature herself, bringing all of the trees and flowers back into bloom. It's so serene, isn't it? We created whatever. I got the opportunity to choose exactly what I wanted to draw, which was very hard, but I chose Serious Gourmet, Vincent and Jules from Pulp Fiction, one of my all-time favorite movies. I already liked the painting, but it was taken to the next level with the bleed through from the next prompt. We created Bleed, letting some red alcohol ink bleed all over the page, inspiring the thought of Sweeney Todd.
A truly brilliant bloody movie.
And we created a border, cutting a stamp-like border around this old-timey advertisement flyer for Mrs. Lovett's meat pies, making these 2 pages a grisly yet perfect pair. Love this forever. The prompts this week were wild, but I like how they all turned out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to go vote on my community poll, and until next time, goodbye!